Hi everyone, and greetings from Radio Wasteland Records. It is time once again for our weekly check into some of the new releases headed to an independent record store near you. Not the full list, because that would take way too long. As we ramp into 2024, we're going to see more and more each week, so we're just going to cover the highlights. If you think we're missing something and you would like more information, feel free to contact us here at the store. We'll do some digging and see if we can help you out. Before we get to the new releases for the week of January 12th, though, we've got a big one that's coming up on the horizon that we wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up on. This one is due for release coming up on March 29th of 2024, and it's from Clutch and their Transitional Speedway League, Anthems, Anecdotes, and Undeniable Truths. This one is part of the Clutch Collectors series, and that is a series of reissues from the band. And it's notable because this is the first legitimate vinyl release of this album. Now, Transitional Speedway was originally released by Clutch in 1993. From what I can find, there have been 3 different bootleg releases of this through the years, so this is a big one for Clutch fans. They're going to be waiting for a legitimate and official vinyl reissue. So again, this one is coming up for March 29th, and it's Clutch's Transitional Speedway League, Anthems, Anecdotes, and Undeniable Truths. If you're a Clutch fan and you want to get this on your pre-order list, contact us right away so we can get in on that. This is going to be a big one, and it may be difficult to get once that initial release happens in March. By the way, the list price on this is going to be a little thick. It's coming in at $57 suggested retail price. No other information other than saying it's going to be a colored vinyl. As we get closer, we'll try to pass a little bit more info on to you guys when we do get that. But again, if you need one of these, please let us know as soon as possible, and we'll get you on that pre-order list. Onward now to the releases for Friday, January 12th, 2024, and as we are in the midst of January, so continues the Start Your Ear Off Right campaign from Rhino Records. Just a couple from Rhino this time around, and it's a pair from the Grateful Dead. Starting off with a reissue of Terrapin Station, this one coming on green vinyl. There's also a black vinyl version, but that's not much fun now, is it? Coming in at the list price of about $25, this should be a fun one. Second one from Grateful Dead on the SYEOR stuff is a silver vinyl version of the Grateful Dead's In the Dark. Arguably, I think one of their more commercial successes as a release goes. This one also coming in at a suggested list price of $25. A couple of very cool ones from Music on Vinyl to tell you about. First up being Atomic Rooster's self-titled album. This one coming on limited edition green vinyl from MOV, and the description says that this will be limited to 1,000 individually numbered copies on this translucent green colored 180-gram vinyl. Originally released in 1970, this is a prog/psych rock biggie. But because it's Music on Vinyl, a couple of things, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, and it may or may not make it in time for that January 12th release. We will keep our fingers crossed. So Atomic Rooster's self-titled on limited edition green vinyl from Music on Vinyl, this one listing for a suggested price of about $38. And then another big psych rock obscurity coming from the band Quatermass. This one also from Music on Vinyl coming on clear vinyl. This one is, though, limited to a run of 750 individually numbered copies on that crystal clear vinyl. The description goes on to say that this British progressive rock band, Quatermass, existed from 1969 until 1971, and during those days they released only this one self-titled album, Quatermass. If, by the way, you ever happen to find an original of this, snag onto it because it is a valuable piece of vinyl, the original. With 750 being pressed from MOV, I would imagine that this one is also going to be a tough get, and it will hold its value down the line. So Quatermass, the self-titled one from that British psych prog rock group, on clear vinyl from Music on Vinyl, coming in at a suggested list price of $39. Elsewhere in releases for the 12th, we've got an interesting one from Ginger Baker. This is called Horses and Trees. The description says that this is on limited edition white-colored vinyl, and it's a fascinating instrumental exploration into jazz fusion, African rhythms, and world music by virtuoso drummer Ginger Baker, the late Ginger Baker. Originally released in 1986, this 6-track instrumental masterpiece was recorded in collaboration with producer Bill Laswell. So Horses and Trees by Ginger Baker on white-colored vinyl, coming in at a list price of about $33. Also on the experimental side, we have got a vinyl version of something that has only existed in compact disc form. This is Hudson River Wind Meditations from Lou Reed. The description says that Light in the Attic Records, in cooperation with Laurie Anderson and the Lou Reed Archive, proudly announces the definitive re-release of Hudson River Wind Meditations. This is the pioneering artist's final solo album and was originally released in 2007. And again, looking back on Discogs, I can see that this was only a compact disc release. The description goes on to say that this deeply personal project combines Lou Reed's love of creating drone music with his passion for Tai Chi, yoga, and meditation. So the album's ambient soundscapes have been described as the antithesis to his Metal Machine album, which, if you're familiar with, anything musically inclined would be the antithesis to that album. But they are similar as they outline Reed's 40-year exploration of drone music and feedback harmonics. So this one sounds like a very interesting ambient album from Lou Reed. Hudson River Wind Meditations, coming on glacial blue vinyl, listing a little heavy, coming in at $46. There is also a black vinyl version of this, by the way, listing for about $43, and I do believe both the versions of that come with a book included. Next up is something from Cleopatra Records, and this is Judy Collins Sings Lennon and McCartney, coming on red vinyl. The description says that this is a first ever vinyl pressing of the gorgeous 2007 album from Judy Collins that features, quote, delicate and serene versions of songs from the Beatles like Blackbird, Good Day Sunshine, Hey Jude, Yesterday, Long and Winding Road, and many, many more. So Judy Collins Sings Lennon and McCartney on red vinyl from Cleopatra Records, coming in at a list price of about $28. A 30th anniversary for some alternative /punk cool stuff from Dinosaur Jr. Where You Been, as I mentioned, a 30th anniversary release from that band, coming on pink vinyl, pink splatter vinyl actually. This one listing for about $40. We're also getting a reissue of Rainier Fog from Alice in Chains. This is a haunting auditory journey, according to our description, that immerses the listener in a dense atmosphere of introspection and melancholy. Originally released in 2018, this one sounds like an interesting one from Alice in Chains. Coming on color vinyl, it's being called a smog color variant. This one listing for about $36. Going back to Cleopatra Records, we have an album from 311. This is Mardi Gras 2020, coming on purple vinyl, and it is a double LP. The description says that this is the vinyl companion to the blockbuster Blu-ray/DVD concert album by iconic 90s rap rock hybrid band 311. This includes live versions of all of the band's biggest chart-topping hits, including Down, All Mixed Up, Beautiful Disaster Come Original, and lots more. So this special double LP on purple vinyl, packaged in a gatefold jacket with photos from the concert, listing for about $40. And finally today we're going back to music on vinyl for a very cool jazz reissue. This one from Thelonious Monk and his eponymous album entitled Monk. Limited edition 180-gram silver and black marble-colored vinyl. This one, by the way, limited to 1,500 individually numbered copies on that colored vinyl from MOV. The description says that Monk released this in 1964. It is the fourth studio album, and it features Larry Gales on bass, Ben Riley on drums, Charlie Rouse on tenor saxophone, as well as Thelonious Monk himself. So the album, by the way, contained 2 original compositions and several jazz standards. So the reissue of Monk from Thelonious Monk, coming from Music on Vinyl, on silver and black marble colored vinyl, listing for about $39. Just a couple of things to mention on the new release front for Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. First up is something brand new from The Vaccines. This is called Pickup Full of Pink Carnations. And this is a limited edition pink colored vinyl pressing. The description says that torchbearers for British guitar music, The Vaccines, are back with their 6th studio album. So Pickup Full of Pink Carnations on that pink colored vinyl, coming in at a list price of $24. Next up, we've got kind of a neat and unique tribute album from Juliana Hatfield. This is Juliana Hatfield Sings ELO. The description starts off with a quote from Hatfield herself saying, ELO songs were always coming on the radio when she was growing up. They were a reliable source of pleasure and fascination. And she says, except for Fire on High, which scared the heck out of her. That one I can see. So this album of covers, Hatfield wanted to get her hands deep into some of the massive 70s hits, but also shine a light on some of ELO's later work. Red colored vinyl, this was actually released last year, but we're including it in the new releases because it was way late last year, and this is kind of a bigger release I think we're hearing of. But this red vinyl version of Juliana Hatfield Sings ELO, the Songs of Electric Light Orchestra, coming in at a list price of about $30. And then finally, I'm begrudgingly including this one in the new releases for the 12th. This is from the band Head East, and it's called Full Circle. Now, this was released also last year on compact disc, but this is the first vinyl pressing of this first new studio album in over 40 years from the legendary AOR band Head East. But beware, because they're being a little tricky with the description in the fact that they're hiding in some re-recorded versions of Head East classics in this album. Now, they say that this album finds the Veteran Act revisiting hits and highlights from their 1975 debut album, as well as including 3 new original tracks that will have their fans rushing to buy this release. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But if you're a fan of Head East, this may be kind of cool because it's got Never Been Any Reason, Since You've Been Gone on here as well, Say Yeah, and a few other goodies from them. But they are re-recorded versions of this by Head East, or what's left of Head East now, with those few new songs included. So Full Circle by Head East coming on orange colored vinyl, this one listing for about $28. And that is a quick check of some of the new releases headed our way for Friday, the 12th of January, 2024. If you're local and you see something you'd like, just contact us here at the store and we will put in a pre-order for you. If you're not local, you can still head over to our website at radiowastelandrecords.com. Check out what we've got there and contact us if you'd like to pre-order something that you'd seen. So that is it from the Wasteland. We will talk to you again next time. Thanks again for being here.